All you hoes, you and your mammy and your granny too. I'm sick of this shit. All you hoes don't give a damn what you wanna do.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
Must reign.
All right, guys. Welcome to another edition, another stream, another live stream here on the Chaos Reign Show. I am Chaos Reign. Today, Jason Black, Oprah Winfrey. The battle has now begun. If you're new to the Chaos Reign Show, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And follow my social media links. We're gonna look at this. And the reason why this has to be examined, looked at, simple, because a lot of us we don't like Oprah. This is the honest truth. And there are many reasons why, even to the point now that Oprah Winfrey, and to people to know, this is Oprah Winfrey's Earth Day, her birthday month. She's gonna turn 72 years of age today, around the month of January. So now we want to know what really is going on for this woman to come back after when she got off the air. Damn, she's been off the air now for 13 years. Not going 14 years now, because I remember her last airing was in 2012, if I can remember. Anyhow, y'all don't want to hear me talk. Let's roll the tape. Y'all thoughts, opinions? Let's go.
There are all these decades. If you want to see what it all came down to, if you want to see what it all boiled down to and what the final results would be, well, here we are. We are now here with her audience to witness the final results. Oprah Winfrey has made her way over to YouTube, and now she has a YouTube program because she can't get back on TV. She got run off of television because the slum that she created overran her with folks who were even more slutty. Jerry Springer and a bunch of other folk were beating her in the ratings. She still tries to pretend like nobody remembers that, by the way, to this day. No, I mean that she said it. However, she said it was because of her own choice, but in reality, that wasn't the case. However, now that she's on the internet, she's taken right up where she left off at. You would figure that she would be somewhere, collecting cobwebs and tasting different cat foods or something like that is what you would think she'd be doing. But no, once a psycho, always a psycho. And she has returned back. She's now on the internet and she hasn't changed a beat. She's doing a program now. She did a program here recently called Gray Divorce. And this program is essentially a final report and tally on her legacy, on the things she said, on the advice she gave, and what it has done to women, basically over her tenure of broadcasting. And that's where the timeline sticks. So what I want to do here, we're going to play some of this. Fair use, Oprah. Fair use. I want to play some parts of it here for you and listen what the timelines are. And what you see is it's a rather damning commentary on the absolutely destructive effect that this evil woman has had on the society now, going on half a century.
There are conversations that can be
One thing, before he goes into the breakdown, Mr. Black, And as y'all know his actual avatar. But this is a very honest and a tale that tells you even Oprah Winfrey herself tries to make herself relevant on the internet, even as today. And personally, because how was I when I heard about Oprah? I think I was a boy. But I think my own parents was really fond of Oprah, and I think, but the point is this: she's back and she's trying to, I guess, resurge herself to make what she has done of importance in the 21st century for the modern woman. But that's not going to last long. It's going to fail. Anyway, let's go.
Additive to your life. And I want to focus on what I see happening in the world, and then we can try to make some sense of it together. So recently, I started hearing, y'all, about more and more people who have been married for decades starting to get divorced. Has anybody else heard this? Yes.
So Oprah comes to the internet to re-enter public life after the beating that Kamala Harris took with her support. And what do you know? She doesn't, surprise, surprise, she doesn't focus on anything positive. Surprise, surprise, she doesn't focus on anything that you'd be happy with, so much for joy. Why, no, she wants to tell you how great it is for her that, by the way, y'all are getting old and getting divorced over here. I noticed that. So she didn't notice anything good. You figured she'd be off and retired and having fun. Oh, wait a minute, she can't do that. So what she's doing is return back to type and to tell you, by the way, let's focus on how awful and terrible things are, because that is a reflection of her life. So just wanted to let you all know that, by the way, she wants to come back and doesn't have anything positive or nice to say. It's, hey, let's talk about some bad things here. Let's get in a circle and talk about misery.
Okay. And I thought to myself, well, that never used to happen. You know, once people made it past a certain number, like 20 years, you're just in it for life.
Just there.
You're just going to take yourself all the way to the flat line, you know? So then I find out.
I mean, do you see how she's mocking marriage here? Do you see how she's just mocking it? I mean,
but she has to mock marriage because herself, she is not in no real functional, what they want to call a marriage itself. She's in a, what we call, what's that word they call now? This is a partnership, or it's some gay term they say is flow around when you hear women say we're partners. That is quote unquote spelled I am in a what we call homosexual relationship, which is some I just came across and someone kind of told me this like for the last year or so. And it makes sense because usually if you're married as a man and woman, there are some roles we're supposed to fulfill within this marriage. I am the man, I am your husband, you're my wife, you perform your normal tasks and duties as possible uphold as am I to best of my ability. But you're not seeing that. So what women want to do, because they don't want to really be actual wives, they'll use the word partner, or no one a lot of women keep a lot of gay men as friends. Now I notice it. Anyway, let's listen to this guy's or Mr. Black's reactions.
Yeah, you in there a couple of decades, you just gonna go on to the flat line. She's not joking. She is absolutely corrosive about it, but she's not joking here. She's got an absolute contempt because anything that involves men, she just can't contain herself. And so she's letting you know, by the way, that's what she really thinks of it. And she looks at her life, and this is actually a backhanded way of her trying to validate her own life and say, oh, all y'all other women thought y'all was doing better than me. This is all it's really worth right here, so you should have just stuck with me. And remember those words, because I'm going to come back to that sentence. You should have stuck with her.
Yeah, stuck with her, because most women, or majority of women today in the West, single women keep other women single. And Oprah is a testament of how you should never got into a healthy structural relationship that leads to marriage. You should be with her, miserable. It's sick. I find it very repulsive. All right.
That even though divorce is at a 50-year low here in the United States, the rate of what's being called gray divorce, that's divorce over 50, is actually soaring through the roof. And
did you hear that? Even though divorce is, and by the way, you got to scrape under those numbers, even though divorce rates have been going down, although the pandemic had something to do with that, don't worry, it's already starting to rebound. But she's telling you that, by the way, divorce folk over 50. Well, Oprah, that's your generation, that's your demographic. Those are the women who were young women. They were teenagers or young women. This was your audience, Oprah. Starting in the 80s, clean through the 2000s. This is your audience. And what you're now telling us is the effect that you had on your generation and your audience. Specifically, that group right there is what she's saying. She's saying isolating them, specifically that group. She's had an absolutely diabolical effect on specifically that demographic.
you're just going to take yourself all the way to the flat line, you know? So then I find out that even though divorce is at a 50-year low here in the United States, the rate of what's being called gray divorce, that's divorce over 50, is actually soaring through the roof. And listen to this. The divorce rate for people over age 50 has doubled, and for people over 65, divorce rate has tripled.
Is at this point right here, you would expect that Oprah Winfrey in her sick, demented skull is doing a victory lap. Roger and Michael King, and we can never leave them out, King World Entertainment, who grabbed this mentally and emotionally deranged, psychotic media lunatic. And this was their goal all along, by the way, Roger and Michael King. That's the story for another program, but I don't see how you examine this without taking a look at the two chief villains in the story. But this was what they wanted. This is the effect of it here. And this is what you see happening. This is what she did. Didn't make the environment one damn bit better. Made everything a hellscape for her generation with the hopes that it would bleed over into the succeeding generations. Our job is to make sure that doesn't happen. But by the way, when she takes a look at these stats, she says to herself, job well done. This is what she did to destroy her generation.
Gray divorce, that's divorce over 50, is actually soaring through the roof. And listen to this. The divorce rate for people over age 50 has doubled, and for people over 65, divorce rate has tripled. Wow. I thought that would shock you. Isn't that crazy? That never used to happen. So what is going on? Dr. Susan Brown is the distinguished professor of sociology and co-director of the National Center for Family and Marriage Research at Bowling Green State University in Ohio. And she has been researching divorce now for more than 15 years and helped coin this phrase that we're going to be talking about today called gray divorce.
You know, I find ironic they give these new type of labels when women decide to end either a short or long-term marriage with a man. They're giving new forms label for their so-called divorces. And I find it very weird that if it's such an issue or you're bored, you don't want to be in a relationship more, why did you just walk away scot-free? Because it seems like you can get another man or whatever, you already got one lined up to fill the bud if you feel being with a man for more than, let's say, 8 to over 10 or more years to be boring. I mean, I just don't get it personally. I don't really get it. I think there's a lot of women nowadays, if there was really no incentive, which that's the problem, there's too many incentives. These women, especially the same doc that came with this term gray divorce, which I'm going to look up in a second. I think it's too much of an easy cop out for a lot of ladies to be walking away with something. Marriage is not no retirement plan. Ladies, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right, let's go.
Through her multiple studies on this phenomenon. So, Dr. Brown, tell us what you found. What is going on?
Well, I think it's fair to say that back in 1990, older people really didn't get divorced. Only 8% of people divorcing that year were over the age of 50. But today, 40% of people who are divorcing in the United States are 50 or older. And
40% of the people in the United States today filing divorce are over the age of 50. Now, this is not me talking. This is Oprah Winfrey and her academics up here to tell you that, by the way, hey, Oprah, this is what you did to your generation and those adjacent to it. This is the absolutely demonic, acidic, toxic effect that you had. Oprah Winfrey was nothing but a free-flowing sewer pipe of garbage. And everything she did was to encourage people to be at each other's throats. And she is truly the mother of the gender wars. Oprah Winfrey is the mother of the gender wars. It was her sole psychotic, sick mission in life to sow these seeds of sexual dissent. And they're coming back now and letting her know, by the way, Oprah, well, I guess it must have been worth it for you because, yet, take a look at what the rates are for specifically the people and the women you were talking to. Yeah, take a look at what you did. And you know that Oprah's sitting there in her head just sitting back with fiendish glee. Everybody else is stuck in the same quagmire and cesspool along with her.
Brown, tell us what you found. What is going on?
well, I think it's fair to say that
The problem's
back
you,
in
Oprah.
1990, older people really didn't get divorced. Only 8% of people divorcing that year were over the age of 50. But today, 40% of people who are divorcing in the United States are 50 or older, and 10% are 65 or above. And you know what got me interested in this topic was when Al and Tipper Gore announced back in 2010 that they were calling it quits after more than 40 years of marriage. And my colleague and I were chatting about that and trying to figure out, is this some kind of celebrity phenomenon, or is this actually happening to everyday Americans? And so we decided we were going to crunch the numbers, and we were really floored to find out that the rate of divorce for people over age 50 had doubled since 1990.
Wow. And the reason is?
Well, I think there are a number of reasons. I mean, one thing that we can point to is that the norm of marriage as a lifelong institution is eroding, because now what we're doing is turning to our marriages for self-fulfillment. And when we're unsatisfied, most Americans, including older adults, see divorce as an acceptable solution.
So what did she say there? She said that since 1990, Oprah Winfrey becomes nationally syndicated in the early mid-80s, and within a decade, the train begins leaving the station. A decade of, women, aren't you just very unhappy? Aren't men just the root of all your problems? We should get together as women with no men around, and while the men are at work, these, quote, daytime talk shows, while the men are at work, what are your stay-at-home wives and stay-at-home moms doing?
I'll tell you what they're doing. They're out there busting wide open for a real nigga. They're popping that box. They're tooting that thing. You feel me? On another man, and they're doing it good. Matter of fact, most dangerous thing I think about women with leisure time and not doing nothing productive. Unfortunately, when you're not really set a task to do anything productive, especially in marriage, you have more time for leisure. You have more time for effery. Hell, you have more time to screw around with not just your husband, but other men. It's proven factual this. Women get so bored now that they will sit there, and especially with the help of social media now, they will entertain some dudes that's either in the inbox or they'll entertain a dude that's across the neighborhood. Most likely the young boys, some that might be legal age. And let's stop it. These women are out here screwing. Like literally, they're screwing out here. And it's proven evident that because most men, unfortunately, especially in a marriage and you're not having regular intercourse with your wife, she is fucking somebody else. And I don't like to say that, but from what it's been revealed and women have admitted, they are out here messing around because women have idle time, and in their with the idle time, they're not doing nothing really with themselves to be very much functioning wives or ladies. So I want y'all to let that sink in. Oh yes, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. All right, let's go.
You're at work, but she's sitting in front of the TV. Back then, there was Phil Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael, and then later came Oprah Winfrey. And then you had, Jenny, what was her name, and Ricky Lake and the rest, Montel Williams, the rest of them come later. So, yeah, I'm putting the timeline here together for you for anybody who may not have been aware, or anybody who wasn't watching, or anybody who didn't see what was happening there. By the way, this is the timeline. Yeah, Jenny Jones. This is the timeline, folks. If you weren't paying attention or you weren't aware of it, this is what was going on. That you see when Oprah Winfrey takes to the air, and then you see when the train comes off the track. A decade later, there are serious ramifications and real world consequences for what she was doing. And by the way, it's not lost on me here. You got females in the audience here. You can take a look at the shots here of the chicks in their 50s or older trying to show off their wares. After all these decades, there's folks, that's not lost on me. They've aged out too, but they hate men, but at the same time, they need them, and it's, oh, hell. So just couldn't help but notice, by the way, they're showing off Oprah wanted to let you know, they're showing off their wares. Don't worry, there's half a century of depreciation, but don't let that get in the way of anything.
Two is that the norm of marriage as a lifelong institution is eroding, because now what we're doing is turning to our marriages for self-fulfillment. And when we're unsatisfied, most Americans, including older adults, see divorce as an acceptable solution. We can also point to the rising rate of female labor force participation. The vast majority of wives are working now, and so they can afford to get divorced. They're no longer economically dependent on their husbands. And we can also point to the gains that we've made in health and longevity. Those have changed the calculus. If you survive to age 65 these days, you can expect to live another 20 years, which is a long time to spend with someone you're not that into anymore.
Okay, and take a look at the women. Clearly, this doesn't bother them. This is a source of entertainment for them. Clearly, it doesn't bother them. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Well, yeah, by the way, it's not bothering them any. Matter of fact, they think this is all fun and games. Because what did she just say? Well, marriage, now people see marriage as a source of personal fulfillment. What does that mean? Well, to the females of the post-Oprah generation, that means that getting married is supposed to be some kind of amusement park ride. It's supposed to be some type of graduation. It's supposed to give you some thrill seeking. That's the purpose of marriage. That marriage's purpose is, like when you got your college degree, only it's supposed to be better. Or when you bought a new purse, only better. Or when you bought some shoes, only better. It's supposed to be one of these check boxes in your life. As a female, marriage is just a check box. A check box that is supposed to increase and improve your personal and social status.
but it's no longer a checkbox because, and to be fair and honest, it's not a checkbox if we're talking about, let's say, Oprah Winfrey is a black woman. So obviously she has a crowd of mostly non-black women and some black women in the back. You know, most black women are always the front and in the back. Ironically, that marriage to black women, if they get a certain type of man, mostly a non-black man, they'll look at it as somewhat of a checkbox and something that they eventually will accomplish if they're dealing with black men. But if they get married to non-black men, let's be fair and honest, that'll be like a full accomplishment where most likely they'll stay in it longer as it sees fit. And yeah, there are some black men that divorces non-black men, mostly white men or wherever that's they most likely they fancy. But overall, they don't really stay in marriage long in general. And most men, other race men see this, and including black men, to black men that still value marriage today, which some do. But overall, you know, who really cares at this point that they really fulfill a checkbox? If you feel just to say a bucket list, then you by default should not get married. You're wasting that man's time and you're wasting your own time. And that's how I see fit. I don't know if you guys agree in the chat room. Make sure you guys like the stream, share the stream. If you want to support the channel, hit the super chat or cash out. Let's go.
That's what its purpose is. So just like when you got a job and when you got a driver's license and when you got your degree, well, marriage is supposed to be another checkbox that leads to your personal fulfillment and your status bloating. That's what it's supposed to be. You parade your husband around like your little poodle dog, like Oprah would do. And if that fails, well, then now I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. I'm just stifled. So if she has to work, I have to work and do everything at home. If she's a stay-at-home woman, me staying at home, I'm doing more work than you as a man. And it's like,
oh, please.
Flipping the switch on the washing machine is work, ma'am. If you have a spy camera in your house to show what your woman does when you go to work, I'll be damned. She is not in that house doing anything of labor for 8 hours, much less 9. And yet they have persisted in insisting on this lie the whole time because in their minds, marriage is about a man increasing their life and their lifestyle with zero effort or responsibility on her part. It's supposed to fulfill the ultimate exploitation fantasy that you now get to live like you did under your parents. You get to live with somebody taking care of you, obligated, not just taking care of you, they're legally obligated to do so. And you don't have to shoulder any more maturity or responsibility anymore. That'll be his job. Just like it was your mom's job or your dad's job. Well, now it's going to be your husband's job to be the adult. And you should be alleviated from all that because after all, it's not a good marriage if you are not the princess. And princesses are not supposed to have to work or do anything. So he should be grateful. If you do so much as vacuum a rug, he shouldn't just be, he should be damn me grateful that you vacuum that rug. And that is the radioactive sewage that they have been feeding them all this time. And now, Oprah Winfrey, almost half a century later, take a look at the women who listened and how this is working out for them.
And that's why people are coming to you.
Yes.
Susan Guthrie was a top family law attorney and mediator for more than 30 years. And 6 years ago, Susan started the popular podcast, Divorce and Beyond. And I really love that title because there is a beyond and it's forward thinking. So Susan, you have worked with just hundreds of people, right, who have gone through this great divorce. And what do you see happening?
You know, it's such a good question because I have
I'm gonna stop this right quick and remind you that Oprah's sitting there talking about divorce and beyond. And I want to but there is a beyond divorce. So Oprah Winfrey is still this psychotic lunatic, still telling you that a woman's only at her best if she's alone. So her goal of every conversation is to tell you that you're better off alone, you know, like her. So that's going to be her answer to everything.
I have to say 30 years ago, like my colleague said, Dr. Brown, we didn't see great divorce. We saw people, you know, in the early stages of divorce splitting up. But then I would say probably 20, 15 years ago, I still remember my first 40 plus year divorce. And it was so unusual that it still stays in my mind 30
So tell us about
years
it.
later.
Yeah, what she's saying here is that, you know, we didn't start seeing this happen until about a decade into Oprah Winfrey's broadcasting career. Oprah Winfrey was on the air for about 10 years before you started seeing those numbers move. And after 20 years of Oprah on the air, oh man, it was just, the train was barreling down the tracks. So for a woman who had never been married and never had children, except there was a couple of abortions in there, Oprah Winfrey sure did spend her whole damn life fixating on destroying marriages everywhere she could go. And they paid her handsomely, this psychotic feminist lunatic, they paid her handsomely to destroy your family, to destroy your moms, to contaminate your mothers and destroy your mothers and talk about how great single motherhood is and that the only problem women have is the males. Even if you're a female who isn't with a man, the men are still your problem. And your life, the only thing your life is missing is that we can get rid of these men. Whether you're...
Another thing I do want to say, and I do see your comment. Your comment cannot be read because it did not go through my other device. So you might have to retype that comment or put in a super chat if you want that comment to be read. Yes, the system, the corporations that pay Oprah Winfrey a nice little salary, to do what she did to really dysfunction or, you know, stifle marriages, mostly black marriages, but marriage in general. Yeah, she did her job well, because remember, the more people are more apart, the more they gotta spend money within the system itself, corporations especially. That's why I understand why corporations cater and spend and put more money in advertising on women, feminine stuff, because they know women are going to spend, and they're going to spend fruitlessly. If you're in a marriage, a very structural, functional, healthy marriage, most likely around your husband, and you're not going to be out there spending fruitlessly on foolishness, on nonsense. You're going to spend it on things that really brings value within the family. And women have a problem with their spending habits when they're alone. And if they're alone or they're not in a relationship or not even married, they're going to find some way to get someone else's money to spend instead they spend the money on themselves. For those that don't know, pay attention closely and pay attention to what I'm saying. They separate the men and women. They make it known that marriage or any unions as taboo, foreign, and weird to discourage the female population so they could spend more money. So that's something that she has done successfully. Well, let's say play more into this.
Married or not?
You know, it was a tale that may sound more familiar these days. It was a couple who had met in their late teens. He was a public servant, and he worked day shift. She worked night shift. He retired after 42 years. And yes, I see, right?
Yeah.
He retired.
Who is that? Tim Conway? For those of you old enough to remember Tim Conway. I mean, do you see this, folks? This is not 1987, 1997. This is 2025. And her audience, all she said was the man, he finally retired. He worked his whole damn life to take care of this woman and finally retires. And the women in the audience, because this audience is practically all women, they sit up here and they start groaning as if, oh, shouldn't have retired. The real point is, I want you to understand that these are folks communicating something to you. They don't like men. They need men. Men make things greater in their lives and better, but they have a need-hate relationship. They hate that they need you because you can do all the things that they can't, and you're really here just to be used. And that this man worked his whole damn life to take care of this woman, and as soon as he, quote, retires, the audience starts groaning because, oh, he done messed up now. Why does he have to retire? He done messed up now. This is what they really think of a man, is that he's really at his best if he's worked like a dog until he drops dead. Now, that's not just, I don't like you, that's contempt. Why would their response be to hearing that was going to retire, that, oh boy, here we go? Why does it have to be that? Of course, because they hate you.
In their late teens, he was a public servant.
What's good, Mr. O? What's good? What's good with the info? Hey, Mr. O, we had to talk about this Oprah chick. She tried to do something to Mr. Black, and Mr. Black punched back, and got his video back up. So we had to talk about it because this is something she's trying to do now that it's not going to work on YouTube or any other internet podcast. So, all right, let's keep going.
And he worked day shift. She worked night shift. Okay. He retired after 42 years. And yes, I see, right?
Yeah.
He retired. He was home all day when she was home all day. And they were in attorneys' offices within 3 months.
Wow.
Do you see how the audience sits up here and responds as if the problem is the men? The man coming home to a house that he worked and paid for. Do you see what their response is? So you're the man. You're supposed to just make sure the woman has everything. And if you dare to come to the house that you paid for, so you can, because she ain't working at all, and if you finally say, you know what, can I get some of that not working thing? Oh, hell no. This is their reflexive response, is that a man should not feel at home even in the house that he paid for. That the only desirable situation is if you're not there. You just finance her life and pay for it like her parents, but you don't intrude with your presence. And then you're saying within weeks of him retiring, she was going for divorce. She meant to do that the whole damn time. She's like, hey, this marriage isn't worth it if I have to actually be with you.
And again, if you put in the work and the hours for years on years and decide sit down because you deserve it, no, I always say man should always stay productive. But let's say you put in over 30 more years in working your field and stuff. Yeah, it's well worth that you should relax a little bit. But for your wife to sit there, file divorce within 3 weeks of you now being shown up at home, bro, your wife was sleeping behind your back the whole time. With you being there, that means she cannot commit infidelity. Yes. She is on the cock carousel while you up there striving day in, day night to provide for her and the kids. And a video like this that is more suited for that. And I'm playing some wild. I'm gonna play anyway. Your wife was on the carousel when you were at work. Yeah. She was on that carousel, my dude. And because of her carousel ways, riding it, jumping on it, you name it, you home now all day, every day, or whatever. She has no more excuse to really hide her infidelity. As a matter of fact, I would say this. I think you better check to see those are your kids. Now I think about it. Now that I think about it, you better check, dude, those are your kids. But can I tell you why files doors after you allege retire and being home more often? Most like a 9 10 time, those might not be your kids, bro. They might not be kids. I'm just saying. But yeah. We'll learn the hard way. Let's keep going.
I don't see any point in being married if I have to actually be around the man that I'm married to.
Mm-hmm.
A steady diet of this vomit. Going on 5 decades now.
Within 3 months.
Wow, y'all.
Okay, 3 months.
So it worked as long as he was out?
They never saw, I mean, they did have 4 children, so they saw each other at some points. But when they had to spend those days together, they truly found, and this is what I think I've seen a lot with the Great Divorces, is 2 people who 40 years in had nothing in common with each other anymore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How can that be if he wasn't intruding anything? He's not cheating on her, beating on her, sweeping on her, sleeping on her. He's working, he's taking care of stuff, and then they had kids. And the next thing you know, they're dumping it on the man that everything was fine until he came home.
Remember, my good friend Jay Shine said best. This is a retirement plan for a lot of these chicks. And once the retirement has reached a plateau, she then sends you, my good friend, or your soon-to-be ex-husband, she sent you off your walking paper. She gave you the pink slip, my dude. She said, all right, it's time to click. I don't want to be around you long. You know what I'm saying? You did what I do. You know what I'm saying? Give me all my money. I need my money. Give me your money. And lo and behold, you're going to cry, get mad, get angry, and you're going to give her the money. So, like I said, America's marriage today, we could accept it as it is, but really, as a man, do you really want to continue playing this game with a lot of these women? To know this is a possibility. And mind you, women want men to start thinking like, but let's be honest. This is a high possibility she could walk out. Like literally. Let that sink in. All right.
To his own house. So in other words, if she could not use you and exploit you in peace, then the marriage was no longer useful. Although Oprah never takes the conversation in that very obvious direction. Why didn't she take it in the obvious direction and say, wow, so it looks like she only wanted a husband as long as she could exploit the situation. She didn't actually want a husband. She wanted somebody to pay for her life and support her, but she didn't actually want a husband. She just wanted to find somebody she could use. Because if we switched the roles and said that as a man, he was sitting at home being a house husband, and as soon as his wife retired, he filed for divorce 3 months later. Now, if the roles were reversed and you were sitting there in front of Oprah Winfrey and saying, she worked for 30 years and paid for the house and the kids and stuff, that's great. But, 3 months after she retired, I just realized we don't have much in common. They would be saying that he wants to get back on the streets. He's not a good man. He's a bad husband. He's a bad person. Now, that's what they would say if the roles were reversed and the man left his woman 3 months after she retired and he had been sitting at home the whole time.
But really, most men should not really give craps about that double standard, because double standards, as it applies, that you as a man, you're supposed to slave, work until you drop down on the floor for her. That's it. You are a servant. This is a reminder of the matriarchal mindset. Now I think about it. I'm just saying, but really truly, yeah. I don't like the fact that you as a man, you do all that and she could just walk up and go with some of your ish. But that's the cards that was dealt on you if you decide to play that marriage thing with Western women. So I don't know. Let's go.
And yet she doesn't bring that up here. Of course, because she is the same evil, putrid individual she's always been.
Yep.
And now women who are filing more so than men, right? Women feel like I have another 10, 15, 20 years. Why should I stay?
Oh, that hurt her demonic, psychotic feelings. Yes, I'm going to keep calling her a psycho because she is.
Deal with it, nigga.
Oh, for her to have to admit, by the way, the women file for divorce more than the men. Damn. Oh boy, it's the 21st century. Them old weak bastards from the baby boomer civil rights generation, they did not make an issue with this. On television, they did not make an obvious issue to simply point out, by the way, it's not the men breaking up the homes, it's the women doing it. And now she's over here on our turf. She's on our turf. She's on our domain. The message has gotten all the way through. You can't talk here unless you acknowledge the reality of it. And the reality is, it's the women breaking up the homes. It's the women filing the divorces. This is not a male phenomenon. This is a female activity. If you all agree, give me the calendar emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's almost 2,000 people in here live on a Freaky Friday here. Time to get your Halloween jollies in or whatever you want to do. It's up to you. Some of y'all are going to have your jack-o'-lanterns out for the next couple of weeks anyway, so that's all right. But if you agree, give me the calendar emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. If people don't like the program tonight, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. I'm probably making them feel very depressed because they're very despondent. Damn, mama listened to Oprah Winfrey and you like, oh, hell, you never connected the dots. People, we're sitting here at the finish line to see, by the way, what was the legacy of all that garbage you said for decades, Oprah? Did you make things better or worse? Did things get better or worse for all the women who listened to you? Are they sitting in your audience with their husbands and their happy families? Or are all of them sitting there stuck out here and left on the roadside for pickup and then telling themselves how happy they are that they get to come clap for you again?
In a relationship when there's nothing.
When it's not serving.
We all know the answer to that. Most of them are happy clapping up with other women. That's just the honest truth. Side note.
Me.
When it's not serving me.
Yeah.
Well, you all know Lori Gottlieb. She's a
Let me back that up
psychotherapist
one
in
more
New
time
York.
here.
It's not serving me.
Yeah.
Well, you all know Lori Gottlieb.
They truly found, and this is what I think I've seen a lot with the Great Divorces, is two people who 40 years in had nothing in common with each other anymore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And now women who are filing more so than men, right? Women feel like I have another 10, 15, 20 years. Why should I stay in a relationship when there's nothing?
When it's not serving me.
When it's not serving me.
Yeah.
Oh, they said the quiet part out loud, folks. Why should I stay in a relationship when it's not serving me?
Oh, please.
Why should I stay in a relationship when it's not serving me? Well, it served you great to get married. Now, all of a sudden, well, it's not serving me. I thought marriage is about serving the other person. Yeah, well, take that little slogan back somewhere else. So I just want you all to know that even at their advanced ages, now they're dropping their masks. The masks are dropping. And now they're saying the stuff that they really meant all these decades ago. Now their mask is slipping and they're saying it out loud now. If you want to know what happened to your mom, and in some of your cases, your grandmom, if you want to know what was happening, if you want to know what they were feeding into their skulls when your dad was at work, if you want to know what was really going on and what the conversation really was and what they really took away from it, It's that marriage is about getting unlimited spills, chills, thrills, and financial support. And the man's goal is to facilitate that and not get in the way of it. And this was what they took from watching Oprah for decades.
Well, you all know Lori Gottlieb. She's a psychotherapist and New York Times bestselling author of I love this. Maybe you should talk to someone. That's the name of the book. Maybe you should talk to someone. She also writes the Ask the Therapist advice column for the New York Times. So, hi again, Lori.
Hello.
Great to see you again. Help us understand what it is women are actually navigating emotionally when they go through this great divorce.
Yeah. So it's interesting,
Can you tell us what women are navigating when they go through this great divorce? Please remember, folks, Oprah Winfrey, when she was a child, oh yes, Heifer, I'm going to remind people about this. When Oprah Winfrey was a child, she said she was being molested. And not just by one person. She told that story over and over again. And then she always ended it by saying, by the way, when she left Mississippi, I think it was, and moved to go be with her dad, she kept saying that for years and years. That saved my life. That saved my life. That saved my life. Going to go be my father saved my life. So being with her mom, who she never talks about, but the time period she was there is all about molestation. Well, wasn't nobody molesting her when she went to go be with her mom. And she has been attacking and spitting nothing but venom, not at the women. She doesn't sit up here and spew this venom at the women. She's absolutely in mortal combat against the men. After conceding that going to go live with her father saved her life from what the hell was happening with her mom, she didn't come out of it holding a grudge and vengeance against the females population. Why, she's reserved all of her rancor for the men. She spent all these decades now assaulting and attacking men relentlessly. And you would think that it would be the opposite. Do you understand why Roger and Michael King chose this demented, deranged, off her rocker psycho? Yeah, I mean, they saw it and it's like, oh, good, you hate black men? Here's a TV deal. So they go and they want to talk to the therapist here and whatnot. And like I say, just reminding you, by the way, no question about men, even though the women are filing all the divorces.
We've been talking about the idea that you have so much time left and you really want to think about how do I want to spend that time. But at the same time, when you go through a divorce later in life, you lose that predictability. You had this idea, this imagined future of, I'm going to be with this person and we're going to do these things and we're going to retire in this way and our financial picture is going to look like this and our kids are going to come back to this house and come visit. And all of a sudden, there's this great unknown right in front of you. So it can be really disorienting to do this at this time of life when you were so certain that your future was going to look a certain way.
You were locked in.
I got 15 more years to live. I want to live it up. What the hell does that mean?
Sorry about that, guys. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I know you guys can hear me. Woo, feeling the buzz now. Drink this. Keep my eyes up. I'm not sure you guys, when you look at the crowd, don't the crowd look a little miserable? Up there, Oprah discussing their falls, their downfalls, and let's be honest, to not be honest, the regret state took in divorcing their husbands. Has anybody noticed that? Just saying. Watch closely.
I mean, do you all see how psychotic this conversation has gotten? They are talking about how they're going to best use their last 15 years. I got 10 more years to go here. I don't want to waste it over here. Your hips don't work. Your knee ain't no good. Where are you going? How are you going to get there? You on your hover round? This is literally the conversation that they're having here with this demented sociopath about how you're going to spend your last 10 years. Well, first, I need to get divorced. And do what? I need to run these streets. Don't worry, we're going to get to that before the evening's over. I need to hurry up and get divorced so I can run these streets as a female. Me and Tina Knowles need to be running the streets.
Yeah.
And that's why women take more of a financial hit, do they not, Dr. Brown?
Yes, they do. They experience a larger drop in their standard of living than men do, although for men, they're also taking a hit. And I would say for both men and
Did you hear that? Well, men are also taking a hit. Excuse me, alimony court, child support court. Hello? That's not a hit. That's a devastation. But of course, this is Oprah and her feminist psycho audience. So of course, they're going to just, oh, the women are going through hell. Oh yeah, and the men had a little few problems there too. But really, we need to focus on the women. So after all these decades, I want you to know these psychos have not let it go. They haven't stopped this garbage yet. They intend to keep doing this until they are in the ICU or hospice.
women alike, their levels of wealth, all of their savings they've amassed over decades, that's dropping by half because, of course, divorce entails the division of assets. And
all their savings over decades, folks, what I'm saying is that now you all know this, that's an outright lie. Women don't share their income with men. Number one, women don't build wealth.
And deal with it, nigga.
Women do not build wealth. Men are the workhorses. Men build wealth. All the wealth women have is that which is legally obligated for a man to share with her through marriage, which is why women insist on marriage, because when they look at the real amount of labor required to build any real substantial wealth, the women say not no, but oh hell nigga no. Women ain't gonna do it. We've already covered this before. Females can look at a G-Wagon. She is not trying to figure out how to pay Mercedes $3,000 a month for a G-Wagon. As soon as the man in Mercedes sits her down and tells her, okay, here's the payment. Oh, yes, you have to have insurance. You got to have that. And oh, yeah, the maintenance. Let me introduce you to A&B service. Yeah, she can look on Instagram all she wants to and fantasize. But when that man lets her know, by the way, this will be a $4,000 payment when you get all things considered, it's going to be over $4,000 just for the car. She's like, wait a minute, 6 to carry the one. Damn. Wait a minute, $48,000 a year? $48,000 a year for just the car? Forget where I live, just the car. Women are not going to do the amount to have an extra $48,000 a year in income. Women ain't going to do that. Let me remind you all again, for those of you who are new here to the Definitive School of Power Dynamics, this is just reality and mathematics I'm talking about right now. Women are not willing to work until they die. Men are the only segment of the population that is willing to die to make a paycheck. Women are not going to walk willingly, knowingly, consciously into any situation, job, or environment, knowing that your chances of dying are 50-50. Women ain't gonna ever take that job. They're like, man, look here. Where's a damn office? Where's an air-conditioned office with some carpeting? So the only people who are willing to work until they die or are willing to risk death to double their income, literal, physical, not metaphorical, hyperbolic death. It's like, no. Hey, dude, you could die today. The men are willing to do that. Men are willing to die for business. When you hear a female describe marriage as a business, man, you need to run. You're getting played for a fool because they're using masculine language, but females don't mean business the way that we do. Men are willing to die for their business. Women will never die. They would never even have a conversation with you to entertain dying for a business. She's like, screw you, I'll get a job at Taco Bell. Men die over business every week, if not every day. That's something women simply will not do. So when you just consider that one reality, oh, well, she's never going to work as hard as you, never going to risk as much as you, which is where wealth is made, and she's never going to apply herself as much because she's not willing to literally fall over dead. Men made the phrase get rich or die trying. Women don't do that. Their idea of risking death is sleep with 10 dudes in a week. They're not talking about gunfire, flames, the feds. Women ain't trying to do that. So men are willing to die for business. Women won't. We build wealth. Women marry a man so they can actually get some access to it. If they had to actually build it on their own, yeah, it doesn't happen. Now you know the reason it doesn't happen.
At this stage of the life course, it's slow going to recover from divorce from a financial perspective.
It is. You're finding the same thing, Susan.
Absolutely. You know, for someone who's divorcing at 50,
Yeah.
they have maybe 10, 15 years to start to recoup the financial, I'll call it losses, right? You know, the division of those assets. But for someone who's divorcing at, say, 65, they're there. They're in it. They're in that phase where the retirement funds, the planning they did financially to get them through their retirement years was whatever they had amassed for two people. And now they have to split that up and carry it forward for two people. And their runway to recoup is almost gone.
You hear that? Do you hear that? The runway recruit is gone because you already put in most of your life, especially in this marriage. And within a snap of a Thanos' wrist or thumb, she's able to take all that and destroy what you built overnight. Scary. That's scary as F right there. Let's continue.
This episode of the Oprah Podcast is brought to you in part by
Booking.com, so you can get flued out with all the other half-century-old chicks out there.
Oh, please.
So just want y'all to know this is sponsored by Booking.com, so all these half-century-old females in the room, by the way, they can go ahead and get flued out for their last 15 years of hoeing and twerking, and they got 15 more years to go, so call Booking.com so you can get in.
It could be invisible to millions of travelers searching the platform. Don't miss out on consistent bookings and global reach. Head over to Booking.com and start your listing today. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com.
So I want to bring in a different Lori. There's two Susans.
Yeah, that was a terrible commercial, and not a good look because now you know how a lot of women, and they talking about this sex trafficking nonsense. You want to do to really risk fluing you out? Like really? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's continue.
And two Loris, okay, in our audience. Okay, Lori, who is experiencing this in real time.
I'm just going to say this real quick. Oprah Winfrey, for those of you who've seen her makeup routine, or what's his face, who does her makeup and stuff, I don't know if he's still there doing it, but yeah, they use like a paste. I mean, it's not even, Oprah Winfrey's skin tone is, for those of you who know, it's nothing like this right here. So they actually paint her face on and send her out there. And yeah, I just wanted to say that right there. It's like, yeah, this is not auntie, this is granty. Granny is here, and she wants to let you know, by the way, she's brought a couple of females here. I wonder if these females will tell you about their part in the divorce or not, or if they're going to put it all at the men's feet. I wonder what it'll be.
So what happened?
So I've been with my husband 34 years, married 28, a year and a half ago, basically said he didn't want to be married anymore. So this month was a year we've been separated, not legally divorced. So
now I want to say something here. She said that he told her he didn't want to be married anymore. I didn't hear her say he filed for divorce. I didn't hear that. So I just want y'all to keep that in mind. She says that, well, he came and told me he didn't want to be married anymore. Okay, but did you catch that, folks? See, this one, unfortunately, we have to play this game because everybody's a liar out there. And if you just, well, I didn't say that he filed. I said that he said he didn't want to be married. So, by the way, did you all catch that? She didn't say that he filed for divorce. She just said, well, he didn't want to be married anymore. Okay, let's see if they clarify that.
You know, he just went through something and wanted out.
He went through something.
His father died 3 years ago, and when his father died, his was very sudden. And he said, you know, I could be dead in 20 years too, so I need to live my life the way I want to live it.
Okay.
Folks, does that make any sense to you? Does that make any sense the way she just said that? Does that sound honest, or does it sound to you like it does to me, that there's a huge piece of something missing there?
Yeah, it's called she's capping. No man just sit there and say your father died, so now saying let me live the rest of my life before I kick the bucket. I'm divorcing, baby. Yeah, that don't make no sense. That does not make no sense. There's always reason when a man has to take the greatest sacrifice. And the greatest loss is he has to file divorce and divorce you. Because man is losing if he has to sit there file on you. That means you did something drastically for him to go out of his way and say, all right, I need to get away from this. And 9 times of the time, that's not really the case. So that's not true. I figure capping, baby. But let's listen to more of this.
Hey, my father died. I could be gone in 20 years, so, okay, where is he going that he thinks is a better place than the woman that he's been with for 34 years? When you lose your parents, I mean, the first thing you do is go for the person you with. If you're married, the first thing you do is go for the person you're married to comfort you. And what he's saying, she's telling us that when his father died, she was not the person he wanted to be with. So what is she not saying? What was she doing that made him say, man, look here. My father dying has made me realize I need to be somewhere else. My father dying has been the wake-up call. Yeah, I need to be somewhere. Life is short, and do I want to keep putting up with what I'm putting up with here with you? I think that's the missing piece. Is that his father dying reminded him, you know, things ain't going to change over here. And do I really want my last memories to be with this person here who doesn't really take care of me? So, by the way, do y'all hear, I keep reminding you, do you hear all this stuff here that doesn't really make sense? The man is just malevolent. He just came home. Now, by the way, did you notice what she said at first? She didn't say his father died at first. At first, she didn't say that. I want to remind you all, this is the wickedness and the deceit of the Oprah Winfrey generation. She didn't say his father died at first. Remember, she just said that he came home and said he didn't want to be married anymore. That was what she said at first. Then she says, well, some things happen. You notice how it minimizes everything. First, he just came home and said he didn't want to be married. Well, he just came home. Well, some things were happening. Well, his father died, and he said, well, if I only got 20 more years, you know, I want to be happy with those. Okay, why is he not happy with you now? After 34 years, shouldn't you know him better than anybody else? And you ain't got no damn excuse after 34 years. You should know him better than any person on this planet still living. And what he's saying is, yeah, this person here does not know or does not care. Now, that's the part she didn't say. And if they had asked one more question, it most likely would have revealed that too. I just want to take a moment to articulate that for you all to let you know how nakedly, obviously lying these situations are. And this is what Oprah is putting out here on the internet, just like she did on television. The only difference now is that we can question it.
All right. And that was a surprise to you.
Yeah, because, you know, when his father died, he started to, like, he was going through the grieving process, which I understood. And I let him go through it. And I thought, you know, he's going through it and he's going to come out of it. You know, I lost my father. I understand that.
So do you have a question for
yes,
any
I do.
of the Susans?
Did you hear that? Well, I mean, his dad was dying and his dad died. And, you know, I mean, I just felt like, you know, he's going through the grieving process. He'll come out of it. Do y'all notice what she's not saying? She didn't say, I comforted him. I was there for him. I stayed up at night with him, you know, while he's crying and reminiscing and questioning himself. You notice she didn't say that. All the, you know, the wifely duties that don't involve sex. Did you notice that she didn't say that?
She didn't say that because she's capping. For all I know, she come up with this concocted nonsense story just to make an excuse, make her feel that she's not the bad guy, filing divorce. Women play these games too much, and you guys that fall for this bullshit, come here and tell you something. There's always something in the middle. There is the truth, there's the lie, and there's the middle. Where can you find in between the middle? Where is to find the actual story, what she's getting at? We don't think like that. We decided to take every word from a chick's mouth, and that shit needs to stop for real. I don't believe no chick word in regards to situation in a relationship. If the relationship ends, it's either going to end in two ways. Either you end it, or he has to forcibly end it because of you. One or the other.
She's not saying anything that defends her. The things that I'm listening for is like, okay, his dad died. I mean, you're supposed to be, if she really wanted sympathy, she'd be telling us all about how she was a model citizen. She would be telling us about how she stood by her man and he done her wrong. But all she's talking about is, well, I mean, he was going through, first she let it drip, drip, drip out. And then, okay, well, his dad died. And, well, I mean, after the first year, ain't you over it yet? After the first 6 months, you ain't over it yet. I'm willing to wager that that's more what the conversation was like, or what he was getting from this. And it's been a few months here. You ain't over that yet. Because notice she points out the 3 years. He was mourning for 3 years, or he felt like he was alone for 3 years because he lost his folks. He could weather and bear being married to you if he had other people. Now he doesn't have them. It's like, oh, hell, it's just you and me? Oh, man, let me get up out of here. So you all ask yourselves whether or not what she's saying and all these gaps in it, whether that makes sense, or whether what I just said actually forms a whole that actually makes sense.
So actually for Lori, so when this happened to me, I only really talked about it with my really close friends and family, and I didn't really want to share it with a lot of people. But when people started to find out, and they would approach me, I was very like embarrassed by it and like shameful, and I felt like they were like jabbing me. So I don't know if that's like a normal feeling, because I still feel like that. It's a year later, and I still feel like if a friend says to me, oh, somebody approached me about you and, you know, your husband, and I'm like, my first thing is like, why are they asking? Like, I'm like embarrassed about it. And I don't know why, because I was an amazing wife, and I was, you know, I didn't do anything wrong. So why am I embarrassed?
Right. You know, it's so interesting because when you told this story to us right now, you told the story of strength. I was in this marriage. I was an amazing wife. I understood his grieving process. He was going through something. Mm-hmm. But somehow now you have this.
Did she say I was an amazing wife? That's what I was an amazing wife. Well, how did you come to that conclusion? What did she do that was amazing? Amazing wife? I'd like to ask him, because, folks, men don't divorce amazing wives.
Nigga, please.
Men don't divorce an amazing wife. We know that can't be true. Men don't divorce amazing women. I guess I jig, but men don't divorce an amazing woman. Nobody leaves an amazing person. Wow, you're amazing.
Yeah, only women will talk that dumb shit. No man's gonna sit there, gonna end the relationship over some what they call amazing. No, and men end the relationship for serious reasons. And she's not really transparent with the story because we like to hear bullshit. Tired of this. Let's go, man. I don't see the purpose of she come up with a stupid story.
I'm filing divorce. So welcome back to the Oprah Winfrey ovarian cult, where they sit in a circle and just recycle lies all the damn time. This is a damn therapist with degrees talking about amazing wife without that second. By the way, baby, the first thing you should just tell me, you couldn't have been an amazing wife, because people don't leave amazing wives. So very obviously there's some parts of the story that are missing. You can go ahead and give us those details if you want to, but yeah, people don't leave amazing wives.
Story that when people ask you about it, that you feel like they're saying something was wrong with you, or you did something wrong, but nobody's saying that. So you're creating the story that doesn't exist. I think when people come up to you, they're saying it because they care about you. They're saying,
okay, y'all hear the therapist? Nobody said you did anything wrong. Y'all, once again, do you see what's missing? The people who know her personally, they know her personality. They know what she's like. They know if her husband was complaining. So like I'm saying, do you see Oprah Winfrey? None of them are doing the due diligence that they would if it was a man. Now, if there was a man there talking about his wife, they would be grilling him and interrogating him and asking him. First thing they would say is, what did you do wrong? What did you do to her? Women are just wonderful and perfect. What did you do to make her divorce you? If it was a man up there, they'd be saying, what did you do that forced her to have to divorce you? Even though the majority of the divorces are filed by women. Well, it's your fault, so you need to come clean about what you did to her, so you don't keep doing it. Now, that's what they would have said. Just wanted you all to hear that there, by the way. Do you see how this is why women, when they go to female therapists, dude, you might as well go ahead and give them leave right then. I was the guy who sounded the alarm on this years and years ago. If your woman goes to go see a female therapist, forget about it. This is what seeing a female therapist is like. They both get together and ask about what can they do to outflank you and outmaneuver you. That you're the problem, and we need to get her straightened out on how she can manipulate or outmaneuver you. There's absolutely no discussion about what is obviously wrong with her. So if her friends are telling her, are you all right, you okay? And it sounds accusatory, and by the way, hit dogs hollering. Yeah, that's because they know you. Like, yeah, we figured he was going to leave you at some point, so you all right now that you're going to run him off?
Hey, I heard, and underneath that is maybe, how can I support you? Or you're going through this with such grace and resilience. They might not be saying those other words.
They may not be, and they may, Lori. No, honest to goodness, I'm thinking when you said that person is having some kind of judgment. Isn't that what you're feeling?
100%. I was at a funeral not too long ago, and a girl that I haven't seen in years came up to me, and she asked me about me and my daughter, but not my husband, so I knew she knew. Mm-hmm. And this was exactly how she said it. She went, and how are you? And there was like pity on her face. And I was like, why are you pitying me? Because I'm now a single woman in my 50s. What's wrong with that?
Right. And so I think that's a projection of how she feels, but it's not your lived experience. Your lived experience is, this is really painful. I'm going through my own grieving process, but you are still saying, I was an amazing wife. I did all these things right. So this is all about her. When people come up to you and they have that judgment or pity, that's their own projection of their own fears. Is divorce contagious? Is that going to happen to me?
Right.
Right? So you have to separate out what this other person feels about herself and not let that be projected onto you.
Whereas you understand, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I hear that. I do hear that. That if you're strong in yourself and you know what your reasons are and you know what has actually happened, that when other people's judgment, which they will, and she was judging you, I will say.
Absolutely.
People come up to you, that was not a very caring thing to say. Because that's happened to me too. I remember when I let go of the Oprah show by my own choice, and afterwards.
Okay. Lie. I let go of the Oprah show by my own choice. Oprah, nobody said you didn't, but everybody saw what happened in the ratings, baby. You went on TV crying one day, talking about, I know you're all watching Jerry Springer. How many of y'all remember when she made that little quip one time on her show? I do. I know you're all watching Jerry Springer. Well, yeah, because Jerry had passed her in the ratings, was kicking her ass. So, yeah, she's hoping that since she's been laying low for a decade, that nobody actually remembers how that all ended. She was getting beat by Judge Mathis and Jerry Springer. All that stuff was running out. Now she's decades later trying to rewrite history. I was left on my own, baby. You wasn't bringing no money in.
I was talking to somebody who was like, how are you? Like, are you really okay? And you can feel the judgment, Lori. You can feel it when it's there. But I think what you just advised her, you know what the real truth is. And so you understand that's her projection.
And the first thing a lot of people say to me is like, are you going to start dating again? And I'm like, I don't need to have a man in my life. Like, I'm okay being single, at least for now. Like, that's not my first thing.
What? Oh, please.
I wanted you all to listen to the program, and I'll walk through the first 14 minutes here so you all could come to this point, this culmination right here that she's, by the way, I don't need no man. And then she called herself, well, I mean, not right now. Folks, it's a cult. They are still repeating the mantra. It's a cult. And take a look at the audience here. Not nearly as large as it used to be. Oh, this is not nearly the volume of people that she used to have back in the day.
And she shouldn't, because she's been away from the spotlight or from actual television when television actually died, now nearly 17 years ago. Those crowds that she had back then are not the crowds now. That's why you see a lineup of old ass people, mostly in their 50s, late 40s and mid 50s. Because all that were part of her crowd back in the 90s, especially, they got old. Most of them are divorced. Most of them are miserable, and they're not really a minute on this airway with Oprah, because Oprah is very selective of who she has on, because she want to keep pushing delusion and her message forward. But really, she got no message, really, to be honest with you, because there's nothing Oprah really offers to many people anyway, personally. So, yeah, let's keep going.
But I just wanted you to see here that, by the way, oh yeah, this is still the slogan of the Sisterhood of Failure. She literally sat there and told you, and by the way, I don't know why they think I have to have a man to be all right, but I don't even want that. I mean, not right now. She caught herself. It's like, yeah, that's not very flattering, but she caught herself.
And it was like, how are you? Like, are you really okay? And you can feel the judgment, Lori. You can feel it when it's there. But I think what you just advise her, you know what the real truth is, and so you understand that's her projection.
And the first thing a lot of people say to me is like, are you going to start dating again? And I'm like, I don't need to have a man in my life. Like, I'm okay being single, at least for now, you know, like that's not my first thing. You know?
I think there's this misconception too about the single woman, that there's some pity for the single woman. But let me tell you, in my practice, when I see the men who get divorced, they are shocked because they don't realize how much invisible work happened behind the scenes that ran their lives. And so they all of a sudden realize it is really hard being alone, and they don't have as many close social ties because, you know, when you say, my partner is my best friend, well, for men, sometimes it truly is. They confide in you, they talk to you. Women have, maybe you thought your partner was your best friend, but you have 1, 2, 3 other best friends, right? So you are actually, women tend to be more prepared to be on their own than men do. So it's interesting that in our culture, we tend to.
Now, this part right here tore it for me. This was so despicable. This was so reprehensible what she just did. What she was saying was true, but how she was saying why it was, that's the part that's not true. Well, the men are shocked. Yeah, the men are shocked, and the men are not the women are more prepared. Well, yeah, the women are more prepared because the person who launches a preemptive strike, of course, is more prepared. You see, Oprah and the gals here are not going to tell the truth. When women want to file divorce or break up a relationship even, men, if we're not happy in a relationship, a heifer knows. We're not going to be smiling at her. If we're unhappy with the relationship, we straight up the middle with it. No woman ever saw a man in bed with another female and wondered why he was there. They always, 100% of the time, every female knows why her man was in bed with another chick. She's never taken off guard. She's never, I didn't see it coming. You know why he was there. Especially if he's married, because this is going to cost him. And if he's willing to roll the dice and take the hit in a situation where we know a legal system that is notoriously anti-male, you know what you did. He didn't end up with her for nothing. This has been festering for a while, and you just dismissed everything he said. He's just like, you know what? Let me see if another broad is open this weekend and going to dismiss it.
Yep.
But when females get ready to leave, they just like, okay, it's war.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies, I got to read the mail. Ladies. When a female gets ready to leave, this is what men find out later after their first 2 or 3 breakups. She didn't break up with you that night. It's very rare that the night y'all broke up was that night. And she had been planning to leave you for a while. She had already made up her mind.
She planned her exit. The minute she says I do is the minute she plans her exit, my dude. Take notes.
Usually 6 months to a year, that's the usual time frame. So if you really want to do a postmortem on your relationship, you got to go back 6 months or a year. Don't think about what happened last night. Think about what happened 6 months ago or a year ago. If there was an incident that happened in between there, she made up her mind to leave then. But she's decided, I'm not going to leave until I feathered my nest and made sure I have a soft place to land. So I have to keep smiling. I need to keep smiling, and I need to keep things stable until I'm comfortable to leave. I have already left the relationship emotionally. Then financially, they start pulling back on paying anything, if they were paying anything ever. And then the last final step is physically. And she's telling you that y'all broke up on her way out the door. But in reality, 6 months, a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, she had already decided, okay, I'm going to teach him a lesson. This relationship's over. I'm just staying to get what I can get out of it. Of course, the men are surprised and shocked and not prepared. She knew all of this. She knew what she was going to do 6 months or a year ago and never told him. So she wanted to make sure he wasn't prepared. Married men get caught off guard because the women want to make sure you're not prepared. This thing doesn't work if you are. If she gives you 6 months or a year of notice or lead time, you can start rearranging your finances, rearranging your savings, rearranging your property. You can start changing things. Let me go ahead and get rid of these credit cards over here. If she lets you know, then you can start getting prepared for the hit you're about to take. So she's like, oh, no. See, I need to grab as much of that money and status and everything as I can. So you can't be told. You can't be aware. You have to be unaware so that I can pull off this caper. So I can pull off this heist. So no, telling you is the last thing that we want. Letting you know what's about to hit you, that's the last thing we want. So for the female population in general, ladies, blanket statement, because you know it's true. Yeah, when the female gets ready to leave, she knew 6 months, a year ago. She's like, okay, let me find out where all the jewels are. Let me find out where the valuables are. Let me see everything I can take with me. And then she doesn't talk to you about it. She doesn't talk to your family now. She'll talk to her mom, and her mom will be like, I need shit in the first place. She'll talk to an attorney, a divorce attorney. You're the last. The man is always the last one to know, because this is a strike. It's a preemptive strike, and we got to hit him when he's not aware. Otherwise, he's going to start making changes and preparations, and you don't want him to do that because you're trying to nab as much as you can on your way out the door. The only time that doesn't happen is when he ain't got nothing. But then again, once again, it's the same situation. She made up her mind when she was tired of tolerating and ain't got nothing. And dude, she didn't make up her mind last night. She made up her mind 6 months ago, a year ago. So of course men are taken off guard. Of course they're surprised. Of course they're not prepared. And this woman knows that. She knows that. Now women sneak up on you with it. They never let you know that. The women are always ambushing you. When the process server shows up or whatever, the man is ambushed. When he gets served with the divorce papers, he's ambushed. It's like, wait a minute. Ain't no man gonna be sitting in the house with a female who's let him know divorce papers are on the way, bombs away. He's not sitting in the house with you. There's no man who is peacefully sleeping in the bed with a female who has let it be known that divorce papers are on the way and she is exploring her options and she's letting her fingers do the walking through the yellow pages to find the best divorce attorney she can. There's no man who's sitting there in bed sleeping next to you soundly and peacefully. Not if he has the slightest inkling that, oh, dude, she ain't talking anymore. She's gonna move on this. She's getting ready to move on this. No one would do that. If you were a female, you would not be sitting there knowing that he's serious about this. That he's like, no, I really looked into it. Yeah, your days are numbered. You wouldn't be sitting there for 6 months like, oh, he don't really mean that. At the very least, you'd be talking to him every day. Hey, baby, is there something we can do about this? That would be the most of it. But the other thing, you wouldn't just be sitting there. It's like, oh, hell, he's going to move forward with this. I need to start making some adjustments. And that's the real reason that this occurs. And so after all these decades, they are still gleefully lying because it's what they do. They're just continuing to lie the whole damn time. Now they're going to introduce you to a new female. Her name is Gabriella. She's going to be the last one we're going to touch on here because I can play this whole thing. I'm not going to do that. But there's another female they're going to talk to here in a moment. I want you to hear something that Oprah said. I warned you about it at the beginning. You're going to go ahead and hear it here in a moment.
To pity the single woman, and yet she's much more prepared to be on her own.
Yeah. I have a happy, supportive life with my friends and family, so I don't need to date anybody, but if I do, it's fine.
Okay, to the men, tats, brats, ats, pets, pills, plants. Fellas, you do this message, you ignore these things I tell you at your own peril. I don't say it just because it sounds catchy or sounds like a slogan. These are real, literal data points I'm giving you. When you have a female who's got pets, that's the emotional support system. I've been telling.
See, ID forever. Yeah, that's straight. I understand. Yeah, 100% straight. One thing before he goes into the pets, I discovered on a previous video. I'm doing a quick intervention. Be patient. Did y'all know that pets carry a lot of parasites, not only on their fur but also on their tongue? And what I mean by this, because there are a certain group race of people that has animals, right? Okay. Do you know these animals in time is going to keep you sick or create an environment for infestation of parasites in your system, particularly your bloodstream and your gut? Did you know that? I did not know this. I remember when Dr. Sebi did a video when he was alive. He talks about these animals, and there are black women now, as we speak, and women in general, but mostly, let's say black women or any woman in general that's alone and have pets. Be very cautious, gentlemen, especially if you don't have pets. 9 10 times you kissing this girl or your future girlfriend, wherever, and you come across a crib, she has pets. 9 10 you're going to get parasites in you just by interaction with her. Even go as far as giving her lip service. Because let's be honest, most women that have pets nowadays, dogs or cats especially, they're letting the animals kiss on them. And it's repulsing. It's disgusting. I don't want to make y'all sick, but I just gotta let y'all know. If they got pets, you're in trouble. All right, let's go.
That for years, it sounds ridiculous to you because you're in denial. You don't want to believe that. Fellas, if you're with a female in her 20s and she owns a dog, nigga, that's her emotional fallback. If she brought the dog into the relationship, that's her real friend. That's the person, that's who she feels she can emotionally rely on. It's an emotional support pet. That's not a term that men made. That's one that women utilize. If a woman has pets when she meets you, that's her support system. If she's got girlfriends that she gossips with when she met you, that's her support system. She's always talking to her mama, that's her support system, dude. And all of them are like, it don't matter what happens to the man in the relationship. They're there to look after her, or she has them there to look after her. So yeah, she's never fully in the relationship. If you demand that a woman give up all those other things, like, hey, baby, I ain't got all that stuff. Yeah, the dog, the pets, the plants, you're mammying them. Yeah, no, they're hogging my space over here. So no. If you got all these support pets and support parents and all this old mess, it's like, no, if I'm not the support system, yeah, I'm not going for it because you're not fully here. Any fellow who has ignored this found out the hard damn way. Your woman divorced you. She got the dog. She's like, yeah, I'm all right without you. The women will fight for the damn dogs in the divorce. Well, yeah, that's the support system. So let me get this straight. She let the car go and let the house go, but she's fighting for the dog. Dude, that's the reason you ain't got a wife no more. Fellas, you can ignore this at your own peril. This is females who have pets like that, and she got a dog in her car. Dude, that's her emotional support. That dog will always come before you. When you talk like it's a member of the family. No. It's that which emotionally cushions her so she doesn't have to fully be invested in you. She's fully invested in the dog, fully invested in her pills, fully invested in the kids if she got any. But all of those are what keep her from, she fools with you, but she doesn't have to go all the way with you. As long as she's got the dog, her and the dog will leave out tonight. And I can really depend on you, Benji. And take a look at their attitudes. So fellas, that support system thing, you ignore that at your own peril. If she came to you with a dog, with pets, hey dude, this is her emotional buffer that will prevent her or help prevent her from being fully emotionally invested in you. And that's all it is.
Not right now. Not right now. Where's Gabriella? Go ahead.
So I was married for 19 years, together for 21. And about 14 months ago, my husband said that he wanted out. He wanted a divorce. And I was completely shocked. And
because you thought the marriage was fine?
We had some issues, but I thought that we had been working on them. So we've been separated now for about 14 months. And there was trust broken in the marriage. And I feel like I have no choice now but to file for divorce. So I'm at the very, very, very beginning of that stage. We have two younger children that are our world. They're 8 and 14. And so we're all going through this horrible time.
Does it always have to be horrible?
It was such a good question and the first one to ask, and it's some.
Now, did you hear that? She literally sat here and said, does divorce have to be horrible? Does it have to be horrible? The woman just told you it was terrible and horrible. And here comes Oprah Psycho Winfrey talking about, does it have to be horrible? Oprah's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. No, she didn't say. First of all, she said trust was broken. What the hell does that mean? Please remember, when females, ladies, I got to read the mail. When females get in a room full of other females, they depend on the sisterhood to have their back. The sisterhood is there to support them. So you see, the sisterhood serving its function is to support her. So if she uses these metaphorical statements, I need the men to understand, your red pillars don't explain this to you. Let the power dynamics explain it to you. Fellas, you're wrong either which way it goes.
Nigga, what?
You're wrong either which way it goes. If you cheat on her, you're in the wrong because you shouldn't have cheated on her. Why did you cheat on her? And if she cheats on you, you're in the wrong. Why did you drive her to cheat? If you're a man, that's the way it goes. You're wrong either which way it goes. At no point will they put accountability or responsibility on her. If things broke down, it's always your fault because you didn't do what was necessary to keep her happy and her, quote, fulfilled. Please remember, the self-fulfillment conversation is a one-way street. Women talk about self-fulfillment. They're talking about theirs, not yours. She doesn't see it as her obligation to make sure that you are fulfilled. It's your obligation to make sure that she is. Whatever her definition of fulfillment is. And as a man, if you don't satisfy it, well, you're the one responsible for whatever goes wrong. That's your fault. So when they know that when these situations right here make a vague statement that, cast aspersions on the man, don't give any clarification of it. What does trust broken mean? People, trust broken could mean he said that he was going to work fewer hours. Well, he told me that he would spend more time with me. Okay, heifer, that's before you went off and built a damn garage in the house edition. So please understand, trust was broken. That can mean anything. He said he's going to spend more time with the kids. He said we were going on vacation to Maui. So what does, quote, trust was broken mean? And even still, I need details. I'm not going to take your word for no. I need to know the details surrounding whatever occurred, because they're just going to give you enough tidbits to demonize the man, but they are not going to give you the whole story, and deliberately so. I'm going to go ahead and stop that here as far as going over the program, but now we're going to go ahead and take a look at something else here, because I want you to take a look on your screens. I want you to take a look on your screens right here. I want you to look on your screens, and I want you to understand something here.
Remember, the whole premise, and I can see why when Igmar said best, even with black men in marriage, why it doesn't really serve us, because our lifespan, we lose more because we do more, right? Too many women think that marriage is supposed to serve them. If it doesn't serve them, they should not be in it. If everything in the world is for your satisfaction and happiness, you will never be fulfilled as a woman. You know this, and most men that's either stupid or don't know this as well. So it's better you be content and gain some and play a fucking role instead of trying to look for happiness. That'll go further than anything in life. You were not put on this earth to be so-called happy. I'm not sure why black women think like this, or any woman think like in general. These so-called laws that's put in place is for your emotional activity. So when you feel some way, you can walk out and gain some without putting in nothing. Those days are done. Most men are not going to be playing that game where you're just going to come in and half-ass being what you're supposed to be, and then in return you're going to gain greater rewards through some form of divorce. And I don't care what anybody tells me that most women do get lost from divorce. Most of the divorce that's conducted by them, they're benefiting at the end of the day. I don't care what it is. If they were not benefit, they were not divorced. Period. So I don't hear that shit. All right, let's go.
This is the final culmination of the putrid, disgusting, wretched life of Oprah Winfrey. Here you're looking at her, and you're getting the final receipts and returns. The women who listen to her, your mama and your auntie and them, this is what they got left with. She returns to the internet to say, hey, ladies, how did it turn out here? And they're all coming back to her talking about, by the way, we're having more divorces than our daughters. Those of us who followed you most diligently and most loyally, Oprah, by the way, take a look at what happened to us. I have always warned you all now for well over a decade. I have warned you all about what would happen in the end to the women who listen to the old, failed females. Your grandmama who was always getting into it with people, your auntie, your mama who was always getting into it with folk, always talking down about men to you. They live the most slutty lives and we're talking down to men about you, talking down about men to you. And I warned you all that their goal was to make sure that you would be with them. They wanted you to hate men so that you would be spending your time with them, so that when they got old, they wouldn't have to depend on a man anymore. No, they got their gal pals or their daughters They've helped screw you up and skew you and make you jaded and cynical, and now you're disagreeable and no man wants to stick with you. So now your old mama and your old grandmama got company to see them through the end of their lives, which was the goal all along. If you have a good, functional, productive relationship with a man, you ain't gonna put your mammy first. If you have a good, productive relationship with a man, you're not gonna put your dog and your plants first. These old hoes walked you all off into that for the goal of screwing up what you got so that they would have a buddy to grow old with them. Yes, the Golden Girls. Only you're the golden daughter. Although that was on the show too, by the way, yeah. Sophia and her mom. So it became a real life Golden Girls. It's now, after all these decades, Oprah Winfrey off the air, we come back and do a reunion show here, and her audience is aging out. They can't have children anymore, and they filed for divorce, and guess what? They are now just as old and just as alone as Oprah is, only she's a celebrity, so they will all leave from where they live and come to, I guess, Chicago, wherever the hell she's filming this at, and come cosplay as if we got the band back together and the audience back together, because a bunch of these hoes are dead and can't even make it there anymore. And so, yeah, these old women's ultimate goal was to have you alone and unwanted by men so that you would end up keeping them company on the porch in their declining years. And take a look on your screens, people. Take a look at the survivors, the ones who are still alive. The ones who are still alive, by the way, take a look at how many of them still flock there, or at least still showing up for nothing more than to keep Oprah company. It's not like she's having a great program here or something is garbage, but they're there to keep her company. They are giving up from their time and their lives. They gave up husbands. They gave up children. They gave up lives of their own so they can sit there with Oprah and trade stories about their wasted years. And of course, fantasize that they're going to throw a Hail Mary and that you just divorced a man, but there's going to be another one right around the corner who's going to obviously have to take up where your last man left off. Why hasn't Oprah done a show about, all the unmarried old women? Why does she have a reunion of all them who are happy that they don't have a man? That they're not lamenting it? That they're not crying with their regrets? Why doesn't she have a reunion show so she can show us all the happy women who are like, you know what? I'm glad I ain't with man no more. Why does she have that one? And please understand here, the young women don't listen to her, so she's relegated to talking to a bunch of old women and a bunch of dehydrated ovaries. These chicks who she talked over the cliff back in the 80s, not off the cliff, over the cliff. And now they have nothing but horror stories from the decades of following her example and her advice. She promised them that you could leave a man whenever you wanted to and be completely and totally fulfilled. Everything's perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, you'll be happier afterward. Do these women look happy to you? You saw the faces I showed you. Do any of them look like old happy broads up in there? And I'm doing a nice program to show you all a retrospective that we finally, it's a shame that we have to live this long. It's a shame we got to live this long to go ahead and have this program. It's a shame. But we have to do this review because people decades ago would have said that we were wrong, didn't know what we were talking about. We were making it up. Well, folks, here we are. We're at the finish line now. We see how it ended. We see how the story concluded. And the women who listened to her for decades, do they seem happy? Are they happy? Testing their sexual options, slutting themselves around the world. I'm in control, don't no man run me. I'm going to have my perfect exploitation fantasy. He will take care of me. And if he's around too much, I have the freedom to punch his ticket. Do these women look happy? Do they look thrilled? Hell, does Oprah look happy and thrilled? She's sitting up here cosplaying that she's still a relevant talk show host, people. She's still doing it. That tells you how fulfilling life with Stedman is. She would rather sit there and work and talk to a bunch of old, washed-up fans. We finally see how her show turned out after, and all the people who listen to her, how it finally washed out in the end after all these decades. She's talking to the females from her audience, the ones who are still alive, and they have nothing to report but desolation. And a room full of other females to cry on their shoulders and sob to and talk about, oh, well, I need my gals to come over here because we're basically starting our lesbian enclave. And that's what it became. It became that. And a bunch of lying. Now, folks, if you think that you're safe, I'm just here to remind you, man, ain't nowhere safe. Please understand, ain't no place safe. It really, really isn't. Because if you thought that this aged out Oprah audience thing simply ended at quote unquote gray divorce, you don't have the details yet.
Oh, and I apologize, guys. I did want to read what a gray divorce is because someone are going, if they made it this far, they want to know what the hell that is. So I'll give you what it is. Gray divorce is, or what they call, divorce that happens later in life. Typically involves couples aged 50 or older. So I don't know if this is a new term that's developed or whatever. They said a doctor developed it, but I'm reading the definition out and details of it. What it means plainly is when long marriage couples, often 20, 30, even 40 plus years, decide to divorce after their children are grown and major life milestones have passed. Why it's called gray. Now, mind you, when I find gray, I mean they're getting gray hairs, roughly. But gray points to gray hairs, later adulthood. The term became common as divorce rates declined as younger couples, but rose sharply for older adults. Why gray divorce are increasing? Some of the most common reasons: empty nests. Couple realize they grow apart. Long-term dissatisfaction. That's why tolerate for the kids. Financial independence, especially for women. Long life expectancies. I don't want to spend the next 30 years unhappy. Culture shift. Less stigmas around divorce at any age. Second act, desire for personal fulfillment, not just duty. How gray divorce is different from younger divorce. Bigger stakes, different problems. Division of retirement accounts and pensions. Social security benefits, especially that. You know, wife's gonna get your social security, my dude. Careful. Healthcare insurance, no child custody, but major emotional impacts on adult children. Dating again in a complete different social world. Yeah, that's the only problem. If you're going to get divorced, woman, you better not date. You better just out here just, popping that thing, for lack of better words. Financial impacts. This is the hunt. Household wealth often drops to 30 to 50%. Women are statistically more likely to experience financial strain. Fewer work years left to recover financially. Yep. Culture and media context. Gray divorce often comes up in discussions about modern marriage expectations, gender roles, and independence. Loneliness versus partnership. Starting over later in life, which is the problem. So gray divorce is a breakup of a long-term marriage later in life, usually after the age of 50, driven by changed expectations, long lapsing, yada, yada, yada. So that's gray divorce for those that don't know. The breakdown. Hope you guys like that. Let's continue with this tape. If anyone has like another 30 minutes, I'm playing this. Let's go.
About to get them. Take a look here on your screen from Vice. People, let me introduce Oprah's brought on the woman who introduced gray divorce into the lexicon. Well, Vice is introducing another one here. Mendo divorce. What? Auntie, chill. Meno divorce. M-E-N-O divorce. That's right, folks. If you're coming up on menopause, oh, gray divorce, you might not make it that far, folks, even if you dodge gray divorce. What about minnow divorce? Once again, a female-driven phenomena. Hey, folks, another female-driven phenomena that men have no control over, but you will be subject to the consequences of. So, fellas, if you thought it was over with great divorce, oh no, we came fully packed and loaded tonight. Oh, you ain't gonna get away. Not gonna make it. In honor of Menopause Awareness Month, where is Halle Berry dry and achy and uncomfortable? Many people, now do you see this garbage? In honor of Menopause Awareness Month, many people, don't you? Okay, fellas, how many men you seen talking about, you know what, it's Menopause Awareness Month? To hell with the old media. Many people have been discussing a recent menopause hot topic, menno divorce. People, is there a hot topic in menopause? And by the way, pardon the expression, hot topic, menopause, hot topic. Okay. Menno divorce. Menno divorce is essentially a divorce that occurs during or as a result of a woman's menopause. Now, how is a woman going to menopause? Oh, I'm in menopause, time to divorce. How does that make sense, people? Many individuals enduring perimenopause or menopause experience such drastic changes that they begin to question their lives and oftentimes their most intimate relationships. Sometimes this leads to divorce or menodivorce. Folks, they have an excuse for everything. They have an excuse for everything. There's always a reason to upend men. There's an excuse for anything they want to do to you. They have an excuse that the society will condone. They'll just make some new stuff up, man. Women been having menstrual cycles since the beginning of females. And in 2025, they're telling you, by the way, here's a new excuse for why we can do it to you. Quote, as we mark Menopause Awareness Month, all right, it's an important reminder that seeking help, whether medical, emotional, or legal.
Nigga, what?
Seeking help, whether medical, emotional, or legal, can empower those in perimenopause or menopause to make choices that support their well-being and their future. Okay, but men, okay, I want y'all to understand, this is the garbage we got to put up with. Men can't go into menopause. Men can't go into menopause or perimenopause. So this is not advice to anyone. This is for women. This only applies to women. What is the legal help that will help you with menopause? Tell me the lawyer you're going to go to who's going to help fix your perimenopause and menopause issues. But I just want you to know that, by the way, that's what you're being offered. You're being offered that. This is the legacy of Oprah Winfrey. This is the legacy of Oprah Winfrey and all the women who listen to her. This is what they look forward to as far as they're concerned. Okay, mission.
And a side note, women do keep other women single. Kevin said this while he was alive and while even when he's no longer here. It does hold weight today. Why that's so? The saddest thing about all this, right? And I mean, really, the saddest thing about all this, right, is our women are very content to be single alone and join other women, which I find very weird. I find it very weird. What I know? What do I know, guys? Let's keep going.
Accomplished, all's good. Mission accomplished and all is good. Now, terms that didn't even exist before. Terms that did not even exist before, but there you are. Need some more? I got more. Black Enterprise is here to help you out, folks. Black Enterprise magazine. Well, I warned you all almost 20 years ago to cancel your subscriptions. Cultural divide. Men cling to traditional gender roles as women resolutely push back. What? Now, I know you think that David Duke wrote this article, and he probably did, but by the way, Black Enterprise magazine wants to let you know that men cling to traditional gender roles as women resolutely push back. Okay, well, then by that token, you also think that men should disregard traditional gender roles too. Notice the conversation never turns to, and by the way, men need to stop that traditional gender role stuff too. Everything is about the woman has no responsibilities or accountability, and the men take on all responsibilities and all accountability. Now, you all can go look this article up if you want to. They even go into there talking about Charlie Kirk was influencing us.
Nigga, what?
They even go into talking about Charlie Kirk was influencing us, a fella that most of y'all didn't even know existed until he got himself killed. But yeah, this is Black Enterprise magazine. Well, folks, what is Oprah Winfrey's audience going to do? What are they going to do? As you all saw, there were some chicks out there in the audience who were flashing their wares. So clearly, some of them are thinking that they got some viability in the sexual marketplace, even over the age of 50. And then again, why wouldn't they? Because there is a pathetic contingent of sad sacks out there. I mean, you know who you are, fellas. There's a pathetic contingent out there that, man, I mean, they just got to get it how they live. Good, bad, ugly, or otherwise. And man, oh man. Oh, I got a story we need to get into here tonight. I know it's Halloween. Gonna have some of y'all jumping out of your skins here in just a few moments, but I've got to do it to you. I can't even be nice about it. I gotta do it to you. Oh man, from Us Weekly. Meet the women launching OnlyFans later in life.
Damn!
That is goddamn disgusting, man. That is disgusting. That's sad. Very sad. Sad, sad, sad. Oh, and my issue with the OnlyFans thing now, personally now, there are now old women doing this. So it's no longer a young woman saying when women are just going busting wide open on a digital platform to get trinkets. Now these old chicks are doing it. Not a good look. Not a good look. That's all I'm going to keep as that. It's not a good look. All right, let's go.
You want to know what happened to the Oprah Winfrey generation? The Oprah Winfrey generation is out here competing with their daughters or their granddaughters. The Oprah Winfrey generation, they don't have a man, they don't have any support, and they don't have anything to offer except, I mean, if we dare call this sexuality. So yeah, we would like for you to meet the women launching OnlyFans later in life. Folks, if the men stop building, this is what it will be. The women are going to figure out, look, where can I go to hustle these draws? Somewhere. Minimal work, maximum reward. They're not going to stop it just because they don't have a husband or a man anymore. And by the way, they go appealing to men, either directly or indirectly. Women do not gain wealth on their own. They only gain wealth if there's a man to transfer it to them. If they have to make it on their own, the economic marketplace is not where they go. The sexual marketplace is the path of least resistance. And look how quickly and readily they are to go ahead and start auctioning it. And by the way, talking about showing the wares, all righty here, perimenopause. Great jumping perimenopause by Ryan Hudgens. All right, Ryan. OnlyFans has been known to be lucrative for creators like Bonnie Blue and Annie Knight, and now others are partaking later in life. Quote, I never thought in a million years I would be in this position. One word, empowered.
Oh, please.
Victoria Winslow told Derbyshire Live in 2023, quote, I'll continue to make videos as long as I have an audience, even if I'm 90 and wrinkly.
Nasty. That is so goddamn nasty. My God.
So they will still be expecting men to support them. She ain't doing it for women. Winslow, 57, said launching an account on the adult content platform has given her, quote, financial independence and helped her love her body. She was also inspired by her 24-year-old daughter who had an account herself.
Auntie, chill! What?
And suggested that Winslow join OnlyFans. So let me get this straight. You've been such a wonderful mom that your 24-year-old daughter is on OnlyFans, and the best suggestion that she could give her mama is, you know what? You should be on OnlyFans too. Why should we have to work? We're females. So yeah, folks. Mom of the 20th century here. And by the way, mama's no good to a man. And what man is going to bet his legacy on her 24-year-old daughter when these are her daughter's principles, if I dare use that term? These are her daughter's principles and ethics. And yeah, her understand something here. How many of you could be 24 years old and be talking to your mama, talking about, you know what, mama, you should be on OnlyFans?
Nigga, what?
I want y'all to think about this for a few moments. When you were 24 years old, could you imagine sitting at the dinner table and your mama's talking about her bills and you talking about, well, you know, mama, you could get on OnlyFans? I want you to think about that for a few moments. Your mama goes on 60 years old. Well, you know, mama, I mean, OnlyFans let you make an account. Think about that for a few moments. 24 years old. And that's the conversation you're having with your mom, not somebody else's mom. Your mom, the woman who raised you, took you to kindergarten, elementary school. And this is the person you're going to have this conversation with. Your mom has financial issues, and you're like, Mom, let me talk to you about OnlyFans. Where the hell are we? Women are told that to be attractive, you have to be young and thin. You damn right. But I can tell you, this is certainly not the case, she said. Men love my... Y'all, what the hell is this? What in the hell is this? This has got to be the damn National Enquirer. This has got to be. There's no way in the hell this is a real story. This is some kind of crazy fan fiction. There's no way this is legit. None. There's not a way. Men love my wrinkles. Lie. My dimples. Now, folks, when she talks about dimples, she doesn't mean dimples on her cheeks. Those are not the dimples she's referring to. For those of you who might be confused. When she says dimples, she's referring to some other rather large and bulbous portions of her anatomy. But no, she doesn't mean her cheeks, fellas. So when she says dimples, I mean, it's really dimples from the neck down. And then is where she's actually referring to. My wrinkles, my dimples.
You know, it makes me think now, it makes perfect sense that if women don't get what they want, and they're going to, by default, resort to selling their bodies in mass, in total. And that's just that's a bad look. That you're competing against your 20 or even 18-year-old daughter or grandchildren. You out here busting wide open. And they think the men should really have respect for like these older women that does this. It reminds me of that thing what's going on with Jamal Bryant's wife, which that fool liked, and he's the one that not only liked but condoned and bought the outfit for his own wife to be walking out here, you know, half looking naked and shit. And the worst thing about it, how you a doctor and pass with a BBL? My God, the body modification is ridiculous out here. People need to grow the hell up for real. It's just, I'm not proving all this shit. It's getting weird out here, man. I tell you, if you're a black man or a man generally, I mean, you're going to have to really promote natural bodies. I can't deal with the fake bodies. The fake bodies is outrage to me, man. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand right now. I don't condone it. I don't approve it. And I don't like it personally. I find it to be repulsive and sick. Shit. Yeah, let me keep going. Let me keep playing.
My stretch marks.
Mm-hmm.
What? People, come on. We are steering perilously close to necrophilia here. What is there to love about stretch marks on a 57-year-old? What's there to love about stretch marks on a 57-year-old? I've had some strange requests, though, like to see you naked. That's an odd request. One fan asked me to step on bugs on camera. Baby, that should tell you everything you need to know about your sexuality. He would rather see your feet crushing bugs than see you naked. And there's so many people out there with foot fetishes, it's unbelievable. Because if they're looking at their feet, they don't have to see the rest of you. Scroll down to meet the women launching OnlyFans accounts later in life as we descend into the third level of hell. As we descend into the third level of Dante's Inferno. Feast your eyes, boys! Okay. This is not Victoria's Secret. This is Victor's Secret. Michelle Hardenbrook, who resides in California, explained that she began her account as a way to get more cash flow. Well, folks, all these strong, independent women who don't need no man and can work for themselves. And yet, OnlyFans has exploded because women ain't gonna do that kind of work. If she can make $1 in an hour with no labor, she's like, nah, my friend says I shouldn't have to do that. Quote, if we don't do OnlyFans, we're living from one social security check to the next, she told Huck in 2024. Baby, what the hell did you do for the last 30 years of your working life? Bought handbags, bought shoes, slutted it up, sex in the city. They only talk, baby, she had the same damn 30 years of a working life that the rest of us had. She's had the same 30 years of labor and work and employment that all the rest of us had. What the hell did she do? She's in California. I'd like to know how the last 30 years since the gangster rap era went. What are you going to do if you have a health crisis or if our house caught on fire or all the plumbing broke because there was a big freeze? There's no money, no way to fix that. Folks, I mean, she's just like, okay, and this is Miss, all right, well, that's Petra Daniels. They didn't show this is Miss Hardenbrook. So this is Miss Hardenbrook, who's like, by the way, baby, you ain't one step to Social Security. You already there. So You are already there. She is already there. I'm not sure which one of these is Victoria, but anyway. This is Miss Hardenbrook. This is Miss Petra Daniels. This is Miss Petra Daniels. Man, look here. If you... Ladies, something went real wrong in life. If this is the physique you bring to OnlyFans at this age, something went real wrong in life. Daniel's 68. Where's my Crypt Keeper sound effect?
Alrighty then.
Folks, I feel queasy just reading this. It's Daniels, 68, launched her site after suffering from an injury, probably carpal tunnel syndrome at your desk job. According to the tab, Daniels claimed that men don't, quote, look at me on dating platforms, but said she is called God's gift on OnlyFans by men she has intricate relationships with, because they damn sure won't be intimate. Folks, I mean, she said men don't even look at me on dating platforms. Okay, but there are some fellas suffering from mental and emotional illness and some incels who will go take a look at it elsewhere. So, and this is Victoria Winslow. Fellas, you know it's all wrong when you get the aerial shot, the aerial selfie. We all know what this means. The aerial selfie. Oh boy. We all know where this goes from here. Victoria.
I'm going to fast forward because now it's getting goofy. I don't want to see these old chicks, man. It's just repulsive, man. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to bore you with all that, man. Let me fast forward. I had to. Enough of that. All right. Yeah. I want to hear you old. All right, let's play.
My OnlyFans would still be very lucrative with that feature alone. I have been paid to rate the most well-endowed to the smallest. What's her age? Looking like Brooke Hogan. What's her age? So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
And just in case you all were wondering how the Oprah Winfrey generation is getting along, man, it's rough out here. It is rough out here. Now, Oprah is sitting out there, you know, with her dog. I mean, with a pack of dogs. Remember, she always keeps a pack of dogs. I don't know if they're still going on their orgy cruises. What? I'm sorry, Oprah. I'm not supposed to remind people about that. Okay. I'm not supposed to remind people about the orgy cruises, but how many of y'all remember those? So,
you know, I'm going to say some as a wrap up to really put a caveat on all this.
Yeah. And now she wants to come and talk to you about all the things you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's checking in with her audience, and yeah, it's real sad. It is real sad. They are aging out. They're elderly or about to become elderly. Ain't no money. They didn't put away anything. They didn't save nothing. They did exactly what Oprah told them. Girl, live it up. If you want to do it, you do it. Don't let anybody tell you what you can do or what you can't do. Okay, well, what if they're telling you that you can't waste your money or you'll suffer? Do you still not let anybody, quote, tell you what to do?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still do it then? If you're about to destroy your finances and your future, we still don't let nobody, quote, tell us what to do. We still don't. Is that still the game plan? That's still the format? Is don't nobody tell me what to do? I make my own money. What did they do with their money? What did they do with it? Did they use it wisely? What did they do with what they had? And I'm not just talking about the money, folks. I'm talking about the years. What did the Oprah Winfrey audience generation, what did they do with the years? That's what we're coming back now to do this post-mortem for. Is, by the way, we want to come back and check in on you all and see how great the second sexual revolution was going. And let us be very, very clear. Oprah Winfrey been out there slutting it up with the rest of them.
Nigga, what?
Oh, she doesn't want you to remember that. I mean, we're talking about a chick who slept with damn me Roger Ebert. What?
Oh, wow.
Those of you too young to remember Siskel and Ebert, you can go to. She didn't even date the thin one. Now, remember, Oprah Winfrey, when she's been on the air for decades, talking about she has a very messy sexual history. Remember? I'm not setting her out. She was the one who put that out there. That, yeah, she got a very, very messy, very long, that she was very sexually promiscuous because when her show took off, she was worried that folks were going to out her. So she outed herself. And yeah, remember, y'all, how many of you remember that she said that on her show? She said it all the time, that she was a very sexually promiscuous teenager. Remember? Okay, what she doesn't tell you is young adult. She didn't stop because she wasn't a teenager anymore. So just be aware, she's letting you know that, yeah, she was out here in these streets too. And that didn't stop. That did not stop. She was out here in these streets and she encouraged her audience to follow her putrid, reprehensive lifestyle. And of course, the results were predictable. There's no way it can end well because it can't end well. It's nothing but a formula for discontent, disagreeableness. Oprah Winfrey had a grudge against men, she always has, and then she inculcated her audience to replicate the same grudge against men. The problem is that she had a multi-million-dollar television contract that would float her. Nobody was offering that to the women who listened to her. So they went home and had their narcissistic fantasy, and then they tried to live it, and now all she's got is a room full of aged out, post-wall females, and probably a bunch of the only ones who are not post-wall are a bunch of interns, but they're not really options. Not really options. This is why it is necessary for our generation to have a retrospective on these things, to come back to it, to watch it, to see what happened, to go ahead and start talking amongst ourselves so that nobody can say that we didn't reflect on this. It's necessary to keep this at the forefront. Yeah, we're reflecting on this. Take a look at Oprah's audience today. They're old as hell.
Yeah.
They don't have any options.
Yeah.
The women who did listen to her are not coming back talking about how great it is. They're coming back talking about, man, this sucks. Okay, but she talked you into the damn pit with her, knowing full well that the only way this can end is you're going to be stuck in the ditch with her. She doesn't have the option of a man. She left that decades ago because she became really rich and famous, and the rich, famous men of the 80s couldn't see themselves with Oprah Winfrey because she wasn't fly enough. I'm not dissing nothing. The rich, successful men of the 1980s and 90s were not checking for a Oprah Winfrey. They can get them somebody, who's show-stopping fine. And she wasn't it. Oprah's the lawyer you hire. She's not the woman you marry. So she eventually made her peace with that, but she said, damn it, if I'm going to be alone, the rest of you hoes going to be alone down here with me.
Facts.
Y'all going to be alone down here with me, and that's exactly what she did. And that's what she set out to do. And she has continued it ever since. And I did this tonight so we can catch up, so we can see, by the way, how did it turn out for all of you chicks who listened to her? How it turned out, congratulations, ladies. You didn't create any wealth, but you did create a new term in the American lexicon, gray divorce, which is really just talking about you, your favorite subject. It's just talking about your pathetic decline. This is not a room full of happy females. The men are where the action is, people. I need men to understand where your real value comes from. You are where the action is. You are where the decisiveness is. You are where the elevation is. You are where the upgrading is. You are where the new lands are and the new adventures are. That's you as a man. That's what you are. The women do not want to be the trailblazers. Trailblazers tend to get eaten by the local wildlife or shot at with arrows by the locals. Thank you, Bruce Williams. She wants a man who blazes trails. She does not want to be the trailblazer. She wants to be the woman that you take along on adventures. She does not want to be the adventurer fighting the lions and being Indiana Jones. And this desperate, pathetic, pitiful attempt to cast them is that met with inevitable, predictable failure. And now these women don't know what to do or what to say. So they've come back to Oprah for answers. Do you see how pathetic this is? I want you all to understand they came back to her for answers. Like the man who was condemned to death and his mother was there and he grabbed her and tried to kill her because she raised him. Like the man who said he had been to hell and they were down in hell looking for the preachers who told them that they were saved. These women have returned to Oprah, big old mama, hoping desperately that she can provide them with some answers because she gave them this advice. She told them what they needed to do. They followed her program. They followed her principles. And now, entering their last trimester of life, they're now back with her, hoping that she's got an answer. Because they followed her instructions to the letter, and it crashed and burned. So now they're coming back for answers, and she's not even giving them answers. Hell, she's barely giving them comfort. Barely giving them comfort. This is a pathetic state to be in, that you gave up all your productive years so that you could be a Oprah flunky and used her as your role model. And now she's led you into the wilderness, but she will not lead you out of it because she's trapped in the wilderness her damn self.
Yeah.
This is the woman's wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
She's trapped in the wasteland, and now all she's really focused her efforts on is getting as much company as she can.
Yep.
And you have hoes still sitting up here lining up to look up to her for what? She ain't got nothing. Oprah Winfrey doesn't have anybody to carry on her legacy. She doesn't have a man who's carrying on her legacy. She doesn't have anything. It's just her and a bunch of damn dogs. And now she's talked a bunch of stupid, silly hoes into being alone with nothing but a bunch of damn dogs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Please, if there's dudes in the audience, they're getting paid. Best believe that.
Alrighty then.
They're for eye candy. Purpose only.
Hell, take a look at that still shot right there. The fella is looking down like he's on a cell phone or something. The men ain't paying no attention to this garbage. They're just paid extras.
Yep.
Please show me the heterosexual men who are like, damn, hope I can get a ticket to the Oprah Winfrey podcast.
Nope.
Show me the heterosexual males, fellas, because a lot of y'all are in that age group. Show me any heterosexual male who's like, man, you know what they got Oprah Winfrey tickets to the podcast, to the Oprah Winfrey podcast? Damn, I almost got me a ticket to the Oprah Winfrey podcast, boy. I'll show if I can be there. Show me the heterosexual males who that's what they trying to get in. Maybe if I move quicker next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, these talk shows pay people to be on there. For those of you who don't know, that's what it works.
Yeah, they had to pay him.
This is a surprise to some people.
Yeah, they gotta pay him. Gotta pay him. To put a caveat to all this, and this was a long one. I didn't think I was gonna do this long one, but I had to knock it out the way anyway. For those that even stayed and listened to this, Oprah Winfrey has a long stretch career, from what men's perspective, besides women, because women don't see it, but men see it, of destroying and hating men. It's evident now. Her resurface back onto the digital plane now is to bring some relevancy and distraction to already a new audience that don't really follow old niggas. Yeah, they might respect it because she's a black woman, but they don't really respect old niggas. We all know this because most men don't respect certain old niggas, and damn sure no black woman of any age that even knows Oprah or even gives a crap at Oprah don't really respect her either. And the strange thing about all this, when Mr. Black did this video, Oprah saw it, her team saw it, and they got it removed. And he was able to get it back on. And the reason, the purpose of today's conversation, well, it's mostly reactions, let's keep it real, is that Mr. Black has proven his case and has destroyed her intellectually in all avenues from the beginning to the end, from her background to the present day. So the question should be asked, and there might be a follow through of this because he showed his victory on the next one if I decide to cover it, is that Oprah Winfrey move forward. Her best bet now is to sit back and leave the social media and the new audience that's doing the podcast and internet thing to the young people or people that's in their upper 40s. This is their thing now. Oprah needs to really sit back and relax because she's too old and too outdated. She brought in Dan Calloway, for God's sake, to try to get men back in the table. You know that shit ain't gonna work. People today have evolved and they're not gonna play these same dumb games. It ain't gonna work, and it shouldn't work. So, in regards to this battle, this really is just the beginning. Now that I think about it, because if Oprah already strike and Mr. Black won the battle against this strike, there's more to come. I don't think there's nothing left. There's more to come. Trust me on this, guys. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I think there's gonna be more back and forth between these two, because she really wants to stamp her approval back and make herself relevant in a new digital economy we call YouTube and other video podcasting. And be honest with you, it ain't gonna work, because you got to convince the new audience that's coming up on you. The old ones are old and they're played out. For you to win this battle, you need some new skin. And there's no way hell Oprah's going to do it. And she's not willing to do it because she, like most boomers, don't want to change. They're not up on the times. They stay with the same program, same message. You're going to get the same results. That is it. Thank y'all for watching today's stream. I hope you guys enjoyed this long stream. I know it's a long one, but you know what it is. Leave your comments. I want to hear your thoughts and opinion if you made this far on this Good Brothers breakdown. Who won? And is the war really just beginning? Leave your thoughts. Follow me on my all social media podcasts. Follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. Follow me on Facebook, Eric Grant Facebook. Also, join my Discord service. Follow my Rumble panel, CRain23 Rumble. I'm also on Rumble. And last but not least, please become a member of the Chaos Rain Show as well. Thank you. Thank you again for watching today's stream. And till next time, and I mean till next time, the Chaos Rain.
Man, all you hoes. You and your mammy and your granny too.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
Must reign.